say it. Welcome to hashtag I'm gonna say it. Look, we gotta get our stuff going here. We gotta get our graphic up here. And you don't want to miss today's show. All right, hold on. I gotta send it out for people to come in. Forgot to let them know, and then we're gonna get started, y'all. I was actually going to do multiple segments today, but I'm only gonna do one, and then we'll get started. Okay. So let's go ahead and get the theme music queued up.
Tired of the silence, the sugar-coated lies. Another headline screaming behind vacant eyes. They build up their walls, so high and so strong, but the truth's gonna break through before too long. Every single day, the same damn old game, pointing all the fingers, nobody takes the blame. This pressure's building, it's starting to crack. Ain't no turning back now, ain't no holding back. I'm about to say it, yeah, I'm about to scream. Tired of the fake smiles, living in a dream. The real life's bleeding out in the cold. Gotta break the mold, gotta let it unfold. I'm about to say it, every single word. The uncomfortable truth finally gonna be heard. I'm gonna say it.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome in, Christy. Welcome in. Thank you for joining hashtag I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared. I actually had an entire segment already lined up that I was going to do. And then after I had gotten that put together, right? And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the show tomorrow. And I got everything lined up. And then I caught wind to something that has, I'm gonna be honest, since it came out, I think it's been the talk of it's been the talk of the night, the evening since we got off the show yesterday. And so um hey, good morning, baby. I just don't know how I want to um I don't know how to deliver this. I really don't. So the best thing I'm gonna do is just jump in and go at it. Hey sis, I'm glad you made it in. Lori, I'm glad you made it. It is crazy. Y'all know how we roll. Hashtag I'm gonna say it. So off the cuff, we're going to say it. All right. And this is what I have to say. I think that the cheddar color coat leader needs to be hastily apprehended. I mean, right now, immediately. After listening, and make no mistake about it, I'm only on the second interview or portion of the interview of Sascha Riley. And given the things that he's already stated that our pretender in chief has done, I don't understand how come we don't have law enforcement agencies or officers wherever the cheddar color coat leader is right now. We're going to listen to some of it. I'm letting you all know before we get started, it's triggering. it's triggering. So if you are, look,
If you are below the age of 18, leave the live now.
that's it. Exactly, sis. It's not just the cheddar color coat leader. And first and foremost, let's pray for Sascha Riley. Sascha Riley, the things he has said, he's definitely compromised the safety for himself. But I do champion him. I do applaud him for coming out and speaking about these things. Okay. Uh, you know, I don't think we should refer to the files as the Jeffrey E. files anymore. I think we would be appropriate in calling them the Trump files, given that Sascha Riley alleged happened. And I only say alleged because that's we to protect our platform, our show here. But I want to make myself 1,000% abundantly clear. I believe every word that Sascha Riley is saying. William Sascha Riley is saying. Again, share this live out. It's vital that people hear this because there's some people who just refuses to accept that he is not the man that they think he is. Again, y'all, I started late because I was trying. I got this new program on here so we could go live. I don't know what I'm doing. I was trying to figure it out and play around with it. That got frustrating. I couldn't figure that out. I lost track of time, so now I had to come on and do this way. And like I said, once we get done, I'll just keep every day. I'll just keep toying with it, and eventually I'll get it, and we'll be ready to go. Sis said I listened to it all, and all of them should be investigated. I I, I wholeheartedly believe I'm only on two. I'm only on two, and it's bad. And understand, I do agree with you, sis. Not only Donald Trump should be arrested right now. Not only should it just be him. If I remember correctly, he mentioned Jim Jordan. He mentioned Lindsey Graham. Heck, he even mentioned what's the federal judge, Clarence Thomas. Ain't that his name? He mentioned him. I went on X and I'm seeing that his adopted father that put him in this situation, and his adopted mother, she's just as guilty too. But they both put him in this to be um trafficked like this, and for these heinous things that happened to him. So they should be arrested as well. Well, the adopted mother, one of them, I believe her name was Lynn. She already unalived herself after he started coming out with this. To me, that already tells you just how true it is for those who seem to have a hard time believing this man's story. Um, it was so bad she unalived herself when he came out with it. The father, I seen on X that he's remarried someone else. There was a little girl. She got to be the age of, I don't know, five, maybe six. I don't know, somewhere in that age range. But she's in the picture with the adopted dad. And oh yeah, I left out Andy Biggs. Thank you, sis. She's in the picture with this guy. And I agree with the comments, y'all. Why is this man around another child after what he done to William Sascha Riley? Again, we are putting out a trigger warning on today's show. If you are below the age of 18, you need to leave immediately. If you are still here, you are here by your own doing. My moderators and I have already forewarned you. And I'm not going to even play the whole interview. I'm just going to play a little bit of it. But I strongly beg you, all of you, share this out with people. Yes, he should never be allowed around any children again, ever, at all. Never. I don't understand it. My sister said, doesn't Mike Johnson have an adopted son? He may. My thing that's weird with Mike Johnson is what he did with his daughter. That whole proposal of her virginity, that's weird. I, I don't. And then the way he acts with his wife, like he don't want his wife to touch him. Not to mention that other guy, one of the guys, had put out the text message exchange or chain between Mike Johnson and him, and you can see Mike was trying to do the Grinder app thing. Um, but we're gonna play this, y'all. We're gonna play this, and I'm telling you right now, if you're at work, she said, Lori said, I wish I was still 18. I know that's right, Bestie. But look, we've already put the trigger warning out. If you're at work, you may want to go somewhere where you can, because it's going to be a lot of things that you're going to hear that's going to be very unpleasant. And I'm only going to start with, I'm only playing part of number 2, the second part of the interview.
Oh, I'm just checking here.
So to kind of recap what we were just talking about, one of the first memories, or one of the first memories that seared itself into my consciousness because of being what I perceived as a threat as a child, was watching Donald Trump kill a litter of puppies. He did it in a variety of ways. As I stood there, they made me stand there.
Peter, where you at? Peter, where you at? Y'all had all that smoke from Mike Vick. Y'all had all that smoke from Mike Vick when he got arrested for and had to go to prison for fighting the dogs. Y'all had all the smoke for him. Where y'all at now when it comes to the cheddar color coat leader? And what Sascha Riley just admitted that he done to these puppies? Where y'all at? Where's the protest?
And he would harm or kill the puppy and then look to see what my reaction was. And in my child's brain, that registered because I viewed him as somebody more dangerous than my parents, and I knew that they would hurt me. So in my ability to reason, my reasoning was, if they were worse people than my parents, that they were somebody that might kill me. So that is why he was so. That's why I most of the stuff I just tried to forget. But with him, with Andy, and with Jim, I remembered them because they. The truth is, they scared me.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to summarize a bit about what we had discussed that wasn't recorded. So with Trump, when Trump murdered the puppies and forced you to watch, you were 8 or 9 years old.
Sis
That
said
was your
red hats are the
first
same monster
remembrance of
as
Trump.
he is. Exactly. If you still
And had
support
Trump
this guy,
sexually
you are
assaulted
just as
and
evil
tortured
as
you
he is.
already?
Maybe, but I don't recall. I think what happened, and I'm relatively certain, but I think that was the precursor to him sexually assaulting me.
So
I think that was in an effort to make the experience as brutal as possible for me. That was the same kind of MO that was used with Patricia later on.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed to be that he would use his imagination as such to try to figure out what ways would be the most traumatic, to make the most traumatic experience, to destroy somebody, kind of traumatize somebody to the maximum potential possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first template of that, was watching him kill those puppies. And then the next higher order of that, and I couldn't tell you exactly how much time passed between, but I would say likely a couple of years, or at least a year later, before the instance with Patricia.
Okay. And the incident with Patricia
And
was
and
when...
at that point,
Yeah.
I had already, in my mind, I had already thought, there's no way I'm going to live through this anyway. They're just going to torture me to death anyway. So I might as well do everything I can to fight back.
Okay. And so with the incident with Patricia, then
Yeah, he gets
recapping,
off on
they told you
torturing
to
people.
go into another room
Exactly.
with Patricia. There was film.
Lori,
They
I
were
told you,
filming?
bestie.
No,
It's
no,
real
no.
There
bad.
wasn't filming in such a case.
What happened
This
with
man
me
should
and
be
Patricia,
arrested right now.
My dad, before we got to the party, said, hey, there may be somebody you know. I had been trafficked with her previously.
Yeah.
But she and I were as close
If this
to
is
being
true,
friends as you could be. We
gotta
were,
say that.
in the same boat.
Although I believe it.
As far as, our station in life. So we had kind of become friends, and she ran up to me, and I can remember she's saying, hey, come go with me. And I said, I can't. And my dad said, no, it's okay.
Facts, Rita.
You guys
mind
have
blowing.
fun.
Far worse
I
than we
said,
ever thought it would be.
What do you mean? And he said, you can go just have fun. You're an adult now. And I can remember thinking in my mind, I was wondering, what happens next? And the only thing that I knew of really of being an adult was my dad. And I knew that he didn't go to these parties and get assaulted. So in my mind, I thought, well, maybe that part of my life is over.
It gets way worse.
But anyway, we left. We wound up going into the farmhouse. We went into
Yes,
the room,
Chrissy,
not
way.
at the behest
I'm
of
talking
anybody
about
else.
way bad, baby. Way bad.
She wanted to have sex with me because she knew I wouldn't hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, I wouldn't swear to this part, but I am relatively certain she and I had already made some movies together. Off, not at the farm, but at a shoot. But I didn't have sex in a way that brutalized people, because I kind of knew how that felt. So it was a matter of her kind of choosing somebody to try to go have sex with. So she wouldn't be placing her life in danger by having sex with one of these rich guys. So we went in and started having sex. This was not in front of anybody. It wasn't filmed that I know of. It was just, we kind of, if we were
that part,
have the
sis.
opportunity to go have
This is
sex
why he
with
likes the
somebody,
way
we were
Ice
gonna go
behaves.
have sex with
Exactly.
each other, because that, in that instance, neither of us would get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But while
Yeah,
we
we hadn't
were in that
even gotten
room,
to the bad
after
part yet.
some period of time, the people at that party busted in, 6, 5, 6, 8 maybe people, big people, adults. At least one of them had a gun. I think 3 or 4 of them had a gun, to be honest with you. But then they assaulted her with me at gunpoint, and then they killed her in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And said, that's what's going to happen to you if you don't do everything the next person that walks in this room what they want.
Yes.
Do you think they
He's
knew
12
Trump
years
was
old
going
at
to
this
walk in
time.
the
He's a
room?
kid. He's a kid.
Do you think
What's
they
that
had,
now?
do you think they had premeditated that Trump would walk in the room next?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Just
that was
confirming.
just part of the experience for him, to traumatize me. And for all I know, he was watching through a crack in the wall. I don't know about that.
So
but
like an
he was the
escalation
next
from the
person that walked in.
puppies.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Trump would traumatize you first and then sexually assault you. There was the incident with when
Yes.
Trump murdered the puppies and forced you to watch.
Now, I'm going to pause it real quick. We have just heard that the cheddar color cult leader sexually assaulted a child. We just heard that he was around, or at least present, or outside of the room when another child was unalived. When another child, a young girl, was, the guy who sits in our White House was right outside the room when this happened. Why is he not apprehended right now? Why is he not apprehended right now? Yeah, Matt, I believe it. Seeing to as how he just left Capitol Hill talking to the people, maybe you should start believing it too. But anyways, like I was saying, anybody that still supports him is a monster just like he is. We just heard this man state that not only did the cheddar color cult leader sexually assault him, but was outside of the room when another child was unalive. Okay. Hey, Matt, Bill said release the files. Bill said release the files. So if he's in them, lock him up too. Let me hear you say the same thing. This is sickening, y'all. And there's more.
And then the incident when Trump had Patricia killed.
Yes.
Okay. And then that's the incident with Patricia we spoke about where Trump assaulted you, tortured you, and then Trump wanted you to engage in sex with Trump, and you found the tent peg and got a condom on, and then inserted the condom in Trump's anus,
And kicked it as hard as I could.
And kicked as hard as you could. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my plan was to continue hurting him to death, but as soon as I did that, he started screaming, and those same people busted back in. So.
And then what occurred?
My dad was at that party, obviously not in that room. It was just these other people, but we did not get assaulted or anything at that party. They didn't know what to do at that point. So we left. We didn't get beat up. I didn't get further assaulted by anyone, but
yeah, he definitely should.
Passed a week, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. I couldn't tell you how much time, but I can remember my dad saying, "We've got to go face the music." So, I can remember him talking to me like I had done something wrong. He said, "You can't do that to the rich people. You're going to get beat up." Is basically what he said.
You've
been beat up before. It's going to be just like that. You'll be okay. But
hey.
I can remember him saying, "You can't fight back."
Let him keep listening.
Mm-hmm. And that's when you were taken to the farm, and then 6 or 8, maybe 10 different groups assaulted and tortured you.
It's just like, it was.
If he keeps being a chaos agent, you got the green light.
In these groups, because I think by
Do
that
exactly
point,
what Chrissy said.
well, I had done what I did to Trump. They knew that I was kind of in a homicidal type of rage. So they made sure to have enough people that they felt safe, because also my dad could fight too, and he was there.
Mm-hmm.
So they had in each of these little groups,
You're welcome.
they had enough.
Thank you.
That they felt that I'm sure that they could overpower both me and my dad, because my dad's no slouch either. I could fight like a little Wolverine even as a child because of how I came up. Well, he was a bare knuckle boxer and a tough man type of dude, so he could fight too. But it was like they took us from station to station, you know, to I don't know, just to increase the horror of it, I guess. I really
Seems like premeditated.
yeah,
Like,
well,
what I know of
like-
Trump is
like-
that
like-
Trump would attempt to premeditatedly stage such a scene to terrorize you retaliatorily.
yes.
About
Yes.
like how he stages the
So-
He wasn't
what you
there
call
that
it?
bad. I would
Yeah.
assume
That
he was
unaliving.
It was a close enough time frame that he was still recovering.
Yeah.
But
Aces, go ahead and test it
I
out.
can remember that even
Oh,
my
Matt.
dad having the conversation with the people because of the level that they had kind of taken it to get me to that homicidal rage. I remember my dad arguing that it was unreasonable. He said, you know, this is just what happens when you push somebody far enough, you know?
So then they
Type of, an argument.
So then they took you to different locations, several groups at a time, tortured and assaulted you sexually, and then at one point you said they hosed you off with a garden hose. And what did they say again to your dad? That you were dirty and to hose you off before they.
Just they said he's disgusting. Just take a garden hose to him or something. And somebody went inside the house and got a bar of soap.
You probably
And
wouldn't
I
because you
remember they
probably
threw it
do
at
the
me
same things that
and
he's
hit me in
talking
the
about
head.
your leader did.
And that they
That's
all
probably
thought
why
that
you
was
wouldn't.
funny.
You wouldn't.
And I was struggling because I had to get the soap from the ground, and I can remember being hit to the point where I was just having trouble grasping the soap. Not just from a standpoint of like being able to see it, but like from the coordination aspect
Yeah.
of it.
Mhm.
Just because I'd been hit in the head and
Hold
body
on.
and
Let me
everything
do this.
so
Hold
much
on.
that I even had difficulty in getting the soap. So they made me like take a shower while they stood there with the garden hose just hosing me off. And I can remember getting really cold from that. But then it wasn't over. That would have been about the halfway point.
And you said
And
it
then-
was sexual assault followed by beatings in all of those cases.
Yes, some
All right,
people
try it now.
didn't even want to sexually assault me. Some people just wanted to beat the hell out of me. So not all of them. They got to do whatever they wanted, but with all of the different people, it included some sort of physical assault, physical and sexual assault, or just the physical.
Yeah,
There
I agree
weren't
with you,
any
Chris.
instances of just
I
sexual
know, right,
assault.
Lord?
It was around causing damage to me, and towards the end of it, I can remember my dad saying he can't take anymore, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And you know, at that point, he had like drugged me because I couldn't walk or anything to one of the groups, and they said if he can't anymore, it's not over with.
Well,
You're going to have to take the rest of it. And he said, fine, because I'm going to go to jail to kill him.
yeah.
So they beat the absolute hell out of him, too.
Okay.
I can remember my dad kind of carried me away from the last, like, group of people. And I think he had to change clothes or something for me. And it took a while, like 30 minutes or something, but I finally got sure enough I could breathe and everything.
Right, Lord.
To where I walked out of there with help.
And then is that when they
Yeah,
took
you should be
to
able to.
Andy
I put you
Biggs?
on there.
Or Andy Biggs
Not
tortured and raped you?
immediately thereafter, not immediately thereafter, but another week or two passed, or maybe a month, week, two, whatever. It was healed as far as my most of my bruises and stuff like that from the first.
Hey, we're gonna go 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna stop it, and then we'll come back and start a new. Or do y'all want to go the whole hour? It's like an hour and some change, hour and 15. Y'all let me know. Y'all know I do whatever y'all want. I'm glad he is gone. That was crazy. Yeah, they're gonna come out. They're gonna come out. They're gonna come out. They're gonna keep trying to defend him. But it just lets you know how sick they are. They just as sick as he is. This man ain't got no reason to lie. He's already been vetted. He's already been on Capitol Hill talking to the committee about it. Um, the whole Epstein committee thing. So he's already been up there to Washington talking to them. You get me? So it's all vetted.
Farm incident by the time I went to
Right,
Andy
sees
Biggs.
as a coat, right?
And of the physical assaults, it's the worst. He kept beating me until my ribs were broken. I was turning blue, convulsing. If you get beaten enough,
Praying for his
as you
safety.
try to breathe,
Praying he stays
you
safe.
just kind of click. I can't describe it any other way than that.
Lori
It's
said,
not
"Let's
even a
roll."
wheeze
She
or
in it for the
anything,
hour
but
and 15.
your like diaphragm or something locks up and you just start clicking. Some people call that like the death rattle.
Yeah.
But that's the point to which he beat me, to where when I would try to breathe, my chest would just make this clicking noise. I don't know how to describe it any
You
other
described
way,
that extremely, extremely clearly. Like I say, I appreciate your forthrightness. Now, you and I had spoken, and you said that your dad told you that after the incident with Andy Biggs, that your dad said that Trump and Trump's associates said that whatever debt they thought you owed because you fought back against Trump, that the debt was paid. And
Oh,
the debt
I know
was
who you're
you
talking
getting
about, sis.
raped and
I remember
beaten
you
brutally
telling me about that.
by all those individuals,
Yes.
including Andy Biggs.
Yes.
And then you said that you don't recall attending any more parties after that, and you weren't sure if it was because they thought you aged out because you were 12 or 13, or whether they just thought you were too much of a hassle, like they could get caught.
I think all of that came into play, yes.
Or they might wanted to behave vindictive towards your dad about whatever money your dad was earning.
Mm-hmm. This is how could you
think
do
I
that
couldn't
to
see
anyone, let alone a
any
child?
of that
Okay.
part of it. I'm not even sure like the financial arrangements or anything like that.
Yeah.
I can remember that when they sent me to the brothel, that they were upset that they didn't make more money, and then I can remember Lynn being
Keep in mind,
absolutely furious because
Cheddar
they were
Color
going to
Coat
get
Leader's
this big
grandfather
payday
had
for
a
doing the
brothel.
child porn in Tennessee, but they wound up losing money on the deal because they got stiffed by whoever bought the film when it was done, and they had to spend, I think, some money on a lawyer. So it was a net loss for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we can add
It was something
distribution
to
of
do
child
with like
porn too.
the film wasn't as long as what they agreed to pay money for, so they didn't make as much, and you know. So,
But the
I
films.
just remember them being upset.
Okay.
Mhm.
And the filming,
Oh,
most of the filming, the parties was all associated with Trump and the Trump Epstein Ghislaine pedophile ring. Different layers of parties.
Yeah, but it's a whole bunch of people. It's just
Yeah.
that from my childhood perspective, what I saw or what I thought that I saw was he was the big boss. Donald Trump was the big boss, and then Epstein was like you said, like the manager or something. And then you had lower level people like my dad.
Stop. Do you all remember that Epstein said that he was worse? Trump was worse. Y'all remember that? This is why he doesn't want the files to come out, y'all. This is the exact reason he does not. He's doing all he can to stop those files from coming out. You all are hearing it in real time. This guy put so much on the table. And I'm with you, sis. I'm glad he's in hiding. I pray for safety over his life because he's putting a lot out there. And it almost makes me, and again, I'm not feeling sorry for any of the people who condone it that's in his administration right now and go along with it. But given the heinous things that this young man is saying, and I don't know if he's younger than me, I just call him young man, but this guy, this man, we just call him by his name, Sasha, is saying, lets us know that a lot of the people that are in the cabinet with the Cheddar Color Cult leader are probably in fear of their lives if they go against anything he says or does or want or anything like that. And I'm not so sure he hadn't done something to the ladies that's a part of his administration that lies every day. I'm not saying he has. I ain't seen it nowhere. It hadn't been said. I'm just saying, given the energy that Mr. Riley is saying that he experienced and saw from the Cheddar Color Cult leader, I could see the Cheddar Color Cult leader using leverage over Caroline, over Pam. And shoot, might be some of the guys too. Mike Grinder Johnson. He might be getting it too.
That kind of went out and found girls or coordinated, at the ground level.
That audio of him saying that start
Yeah.
war.
So in terms of
yes, very
he
telling.
just sought out people like my dad that would sell, their
Don't talk
adopted
about
child,
his daughter
their
is so
actual
much
child, or
more
whatever.
diabolical than we
So
thought.
those are the different layers of people.
That is beyond sickening.
but that Trump was involved in a lot of the planning, micromanaging, filming.
Certainly the payouts.
Yeah.
Because I know that when I was offered to Trump, the excitement that was in the house from Lynn, particularly, was that this is going to be the big payday.
Y'all, we all took that in, right? We all heard that. He's saying the guy that currently sits as the leader of our country bought him as a minor to do sexual things to engage in sexual activities. Sis says, do you remember when she did an interview in her room? She seemed scared to be by her bed. Yeah, I do remember that. And if I remember correctly at that time, she was in the modeling thing too.
We have made it up to the highest level of this thing, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would sell me at a lower level to people that they knew. Not this is outside of the parties, but obviously they don't have the type of money that these rich folks have. So that wasn't really a big payday, and they were nervous about taking that kind of money because they were accepting this large amount of risk for very, really little amount of reward. And they were excited to make it to the level of Donald Trump because I think the payday that they were supposed to get was $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been another sum, but that's just the sum that I remember. And that may not sound like a lot, especially today, but for our less standard of living, that would have been a fairly sizable chunk of money.
Mm-hmm. And we spoke about in terms of the years when you were about 9 to 10 years old, maybe 8 years old, until about 13. Mm-hmm. And most of the parties, there were only 3 or 4 kids there. Sometimes only you.
Yes.
And it was
they
sort of the different.
Always have,
yeah.
they would almost always have at least one girl there. So I'm sure that the mentality of that would be, to have a boy or a girl to choose from. And there may have been children at these parties that were in attendance that I just didn't see.
Yeah.
Because I was being abused, in like a bedroom of the farmhouse or some other location. And there could have been more people there. I can't really say exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
You get kind of just from a standpoint of the experience, you very much just kind of lock onto your surroundings to try to stay alive. You're looking at the person that you're having this encounter with, anything that you could potentially use for a weapon, escape paths and stuff like that. Very much you're in survival mode. So you tend to hyper-focus on just what's immediately around you. So there may have been additional things going on, but I really wasn't paying attention to those.
Okay.
That's a great question,
Okay, and
Lord.
we spoke about the average age
That's a
was
great
like 9 or
question.
10
Why
years
anybody?
old
But
in
yeah, I
some
get what you're
cases.
saying.
Layers
All
of
the way up
parties.
to
Sis said, "What kind of
adult
monster
prostitutes
adopts a
were there
child
too.
for this
Yeah.
purpose?" I know that's
The
right, sis.
younger end is 9, 10, all the way up to
And he's here in Georgia too.
young
Man,
ladies,
listen.
17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds.
And did you ever see Andy Biggs sexually assault and torture anyone else? Or you?
No,
No.
not that I can recall. No.
And what about Jim Jordan?
No, I remember him from that one instance. I'm not saying that he wasn't at additional, but I only remember him at the one. And I can remember a bunch of people being there, but to be honest with you, the rest of them just kind of melded together. Just a bunch of adults. Kind of a crowd of people. The ones that I focused on, the ones that I remember, are the ones that seared into my brain that this person could kill me next time.
Yeah.
So I need to remember this type of deal, and that's those
Very
three.
sad.
Yeah. And then Trump during all those years. Now, did you ever see Clarence Thomas more than once or Lindsey Graham?
Right, sis. Evil likes to destroy the pure spirit.
But
They
I
can't,
only
and that's
remembered
always
Lindsay
children.
because his mannerisms, particularly when he's not in the public spotlight, are very effeminate.
Yeah.
So that stood out to me, and Clarence stood out to me, and I only remember seeing them at one of those parties before anything happened. So I'm not saying that they were necessarily involved in abuse. They could have been. They could have even been involved in abuse that included me. I just can't swear to that. But he stood out because of his mannerisms being so effeminate. I believe the people that I was around, my dad and whoever he was talking to at the time, joking and laughing about those mannerisms. And then I remember Clarence because he's a black man. Not only is he a black man, but he's kind of a dark-skinned black man. So in that group of people, he stood out a lot because he was the only black guy there.
Okay. And then in terms of, we talked about transportation, plane, airplane, helicopter, automobile. You said there was usually there weren't a lot of folks on the plane, maybe sometimes 3 or 4 other kids. Sometimes just you, with
Right.
whichever adults on the
Right.
plane. When,
Yes.
with the snuff movies, were any of those shot on the farm that you remember? Or those were, you said, were at different locations?
Those were at different locations.
And how many folks
Other
did you see
than-
killed in the snuff movies that you saw
So
filmed?
now we introduce murder. We have unaliving going on, y'all.
That was filmed
Yeah.
for sure 100%. I only remember that one.
Yeah.
Now, if they filmed Patricia being shot, that would be 2.
Okay.
But the other one was on like what you would think of as a movie set.
Yeah.
Probably just a warehouse, somebody's basement. I couldn't tell you the location, but it wasn't just a
I feel like this is tied to Midnight
VHS
Production.
camcorder. It was something on a tripod.
Definitely,
with lights and
definitely
things
the
like
same
that.
setup. Sounds like it.
And
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me
we
okay?
were having sex, and somebody walked in and just shot her in the head.
far
And
away.
I don't
My
remember
earbud.
her name.
So
But
it's a
that was-
similar MO as with Patricia.
Yes, but there was no additional
good.
assault
Thank
to
you,
me afterwards.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
yes, it was similar to what happened there. Other than with Patricia, they busted in. It was however many of them there was, about half a dozen. And I had to stand there and watch, kind of like I had to with the puppies, while they abused her first and then shot her.
Did Patricia say anything to you before Patricia was shot? Do you remember anything? Did Patricia say anything all during the assault?
I can remember her asking to just die. Please just kill me. And I can remember telling Patricia, because
Just put that in perspective, everybody. Just take a moment and put that in perspective to where things are so horrendous. Things are so horrendous that a child wishes for death. The- a child wishes for death. Just think about how bad it must have been, how heinous it had to be in order for a child to think death was the best option. Just stop and think about that, y'all. Like this is crazy. This is crazy. Why are the DMs not moving in? They got to. Something's got to. This is wild.
this is what Samantha had said to Sarah before Samantha shot her, was, "You're going to come be with me now. I love you." And then she shot her. So I said the same thing to Patricia.
Mm-hmm.
And then they shot her.
Boy, you two be got me idiots on here. Boy, I ain't playing with you.
There really
her
aren't
on
any
that.
English language words that convey,
Made me cry. That's why it made me cry.
I'm glad that you
calm
found
down.
each other,
That last thing.
that
she
you found
said.
some way that you could find some
Yeah,
sort of
that was
friendship
wild, wasn't it?
in such harrowing
Yeah,
circumstances.
Lori, like for real.
I'm
Like
so sad. But, I don't
She was just a sweet, sweet little girl, and that's what these people are. And this world is just not need that.
Yeah. Do you have a sense that Trump and those perpetrators would specifically try to look for children they thought were really innocent to torture?
Oh,
like
yeah.
the puppies?
Oh, yeah.
Like the more innocent, they wanted to torture them more?
Yes. It was about the experience to them didn't seem to be all that sexual in nature. It was about taking a
here you go, Lori.
bright little energetic youth and then just destroying that person. Even if not physically necessarily, but psychologically and emotionally, like to the point where they just really were traumatized for life.
Mm-hmm.
That was what they seemed to enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And my mother, Marilyn Riley, was of the exact same personality flaws that those rich people were. And as bad as my dad is, and as far as human beings go, I would say that he's just about a failure in every way. He wasn't even that bad. There was just some semblance of conscience with him. Like, I can remember at that party him just about breaking down into tears because it was affecting him emotionally to see me take that level of punishment or abuse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So Lynn was type of person, she would have smiled and laughed and had a really good time. That's who she was. And that's who Donald Trump is. And that's who Andy Dick is. Those three are like the last level of human as far as depravity goes. I mean, there's nothing in the way of watching another person suffer that they didn't seem to enjoy, would be the best way to put it.
So it would be
Sick.
similar sort of psychopathy as John Wayne Gacy. Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. If
Even
I
worse.
can remember, Samantha was the first and maybe only person that Lynn got to kill, and I remember her being upset that she didn't get to be the one to kill her.
Yes.
Hmm.
I think Gacy wasn't he the
And
one
that's
dressed up
the
like a
last
clown?
part of what they used as leverage
Yeah,
against
he's the
me.
one dressed up like a clown
And
that
they had
was,
damaged her to the point
Matt
where she was
Serial
probably going to
unalive.
die anyway. But Samantha asked
Wayne-
me,
when it-
they
Wayne, I
threw
think-
her in the room. They had cut off one of her toes. She was not in a good way. I
Torture,
think that
man,
maybe they
torture.
had broken her arm. But she was suffering, and she asked me to choke her to death, and I did. And they used that. My parents used that as leverage against me for a period of time, telling me that I was the only one guilty of murder.
Hmm.
So in my childhood brain, I thought that made sense, but I just did for Sammy what Sammy kind of did for Sarah.
Whoa, I didn't know that, sis. She said, yeah,
That's
my
how
ex-husband
you're
lived
looking
next to
at. Okay,
John
so
Wayne
let's
Gacy.
just recap because that's
Go to
important.
clown.
I don't want
Yep.
to get
See, that's crazy. I
misconstrued.
did not know that.
So Samantha, Sarah,
You never
Patricia.
shared that with me.
Which one was African American again?
Samantha.
Samantha. So Samantha was African American, and you were all tortured and trafficked by Trump and the Trump Epstein pedophile ring.
Yeah.
Brutally tortured. When Sarah was going to commit suicide, Sarah was afraid to pull the trigger, and Samantha
Hey, babe, you made it in. You got the link?
pulled the trigger, and so that Samantha could die because Samantha was afraid to commit suicide. Samantha asked, or Sarah
What?
asked Samantha
Sarah asked Samantha.
to pull the trigger. And then when
And
your
I was in
parents,
the room.
Was
Yeah.
everybody okay there?
Sarah had asked for me to be in the room too because she wanted. We cared about each other. Me, Sarah, Samantha, and Patricia were all just like we kind of, Three Musketeers or whatever. We kind of stuck with each other because we did the best we could to look
Okay,
out for
good.
one another. But she wanted me to be in the room too because she wanted to die around the people that she loved. And at that point, it was just me and Samantha. I don't.
and was that at the
I don't
brothel
recall the
again?
specifics.
Or what was the
Yes.
location? Yeah, okay.
That was at the brothel.
Okay, and so that's when Sarah died, and then they had to clean up
Yes.
clean up.
Yeah. The adults came in and took Sarah's body, but I remember Samantha and I had to use the cleanest solutions and clean up all the blood and stuff like that.
Hmm. And then when Marie Lynn and William Kyle tortured Samantha almost to death, Samantha was going to die,
Okay, thank you, babe.
and then
Mm-hmm.
Samantha asked you to kill Samantha, similar that Sarah asked Samantha to kill Sarah.
It sounds like it, sis.
She
Yeah,
showed me
it
how
doesn't sound like
to choke her, and I did.
What else did she say?
Samantha
Yeah,
she just made me
she said to save her.
promise to live life for both of them. She made me promise that I would get through it.
What do you think Marie Lynn and William would have done to Samantha if Samantha hadn't have died?
They just would have kept beating beating on her until she was dead.
Just that, could you imagine having to
So
clean that up,
They
knowing
tortured her for
it
Yeah.
will
couple of
happen
weeks,
to you
probably.
next?
a couple of weeks. So they tortured Samantha,
I can
during
only
a couple of
imagine the
weeks.
psychological
and then Samantha
damage
asked
done
you
there.
to kill Samantha because Samantha didn't want to die getting tortured by William Kyle and
Yeah.
Marie Lynn.
She
I
said,
can't even, I
go
can't
back
even
in there.
imagine, I should say.
Yeah.
I can't do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I do believe they're his guardian
Because they
angels,
would,
given what
they
they were
had us
saying
locked
too.
in like a little
Their
storage
last
room,
words.
Yeah.
and they would pull us out one at a time and torture us, and then throw us back in there together. And that last day, they threw her back in there at
But so the
night.
fact that his
And I can
dad has
remember we
access to
stayed
young
up
children
almost all
now is
night
scary.
talking.
Yeah, it is. I was
Yeah.
mentioning that. You're right. That's
And,
crazy work.
I can remember when daybreak hit, she said, you've got to do it. I can't. Basically, she could not face them again, and she knew that shortly after sunrise, my parents would be up.
Yeah.
So, and when I filed the police report, I told them that same thing. So, that the police report that was
Police
never
failed
followed
him
up.
too.
So when
I
you
did that in Lawton, Oklahoma.
in Oklahoma, and so when you talked to the police, you said Samantha had asked you to kill Samantha because Samantha couldn't bear getting tortured by your parents anymore. And you told the police,
Yes.
and the police never followed up in Oklahoma.
I filled out a whole report. It was recorded. I gave them the exact same story I'm telling you, and I never heard back from them. And
Wow.
I don't know why. I don't know how deep they dug. I don't know why that investigation stalled, but at the conclusion of that, I felt as though law enforcement was not somebody that would
He said he's got CPS reports in
do
several states.
anything.
They failed him.
Because
Yeah,
I know
he
that
mentioned
the
Florida,
investigation
Alabama.
have to be
He
somewhere.
just said Oklahoma. There
My
was
parents
somewhere
were
else too.
investigated over and over and over again, particularly my dad, in 3 different states.
They said when
Seems
you
like there was
when you
some-
have
4
people in
different
government
states.
power,
4 different states. Because
what is
Texas,
what is to be
Tennessee,
expected?
Alabama, and they tried
That's
to kill
why
me in
people don't
Florida.
come
There
out.
was another
Exactly. That's
investigation
right,
in
man.
Florida that
You're right.
followed them back to Alabama.
Yeah.
So,
I have a question for
there's
you.
no way. Yes.
This is specific regarding with Trump again, and I think it might help in terms of sort of just establishing something. When you kicked
Similar to the Franklin ring and
the
how they
tent peg
were able
into
to cover it up.
Trump's
You talking about
anus,
in
you
Omaha?
said you tore Trump's backside open, anus open.
Yes.
There's a lot of gossip, discussion about Donald Trump's being incontinent since several years ago. I remember some folks that worked on the television series The Apprentice, they said Donald Trump had to wear diapers.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I
And
remember that.
I would bet.
That was like one of the first
because
things
ripped
I was
him
told when I
open.
moved out to Omaha.
That's
So-
what my sense is that some of the gossip has been, oh, Trump had used Adderall, Trump was incontinent because of drug use. But I'm wondering, and I do know that the truth, if that's actually the reason Trump wears diapers is a significant part. Do you remember,
I think
I mean, can you describe
driver.
what the injuries look like? Do you remember enough to describe?
I remember the scream that he let out when I kicked him, and I remember backing away, and it was, I can't remember exactly what it looked like, but it wasn't just that he was hurt. He started,
Rita said, "Ew."
while he was screaming, like his entire body was in almost like a horseshoe.
Yeah, Kevin Kevs. That's probably Kevin
where
Kevs.
he
That's
was
probably
just-
the truest thing he said.
Vibrating or convulsing. while he was
Readers or not, he
just
ripped him open.
screaming at the. I remember his reaction being so loud that it scared me.
My
and
baby
I
said,
kinda
"Stay on
backed
here.
away.
TikTok is always
But
ghosting my
what
comments."
the injury
Yeah, this is the
itself
new
looked
home.
like,
This is the new home.
I can't really describe that because
I gotta learn
in
the
my mind I thought that he was
streaming
going to
thing that I
die
got on the
after.
computer. I
Mhm.
gotta
So
learn
I
how to
just-
work that. 'Cause
I got as far away as
getting
I could, like
frustrated.
in the corner. And
Mhm.
as he's just the scream that he let out, I can remember that. Yeah, just like a banshee. And then those people came in there, obviously knowing something was up. They pointed a gun at me. Anyway,
She said, "I know, Michelle. I
they
like
didn't beat me.
YouTube
They didn't do
streets
anything
better."
like that. They
Yeah,
just
it's a nicer
scooped him
neighborhood
up,
over
got him out
here.
of there. And then they tried to figure out what had happened. And I know at
Okay.
one point I was just there with like a couple of guys holding a gun on me, and there was some discussion. My dad was brought in, and they just let us go for that day. Nobody harmed us that day because they didn't really know how they were going to handle it. They didn't know if Trump was going to die. He was fucked up. I mean, no doubt. That's
Hold
something
on, I
that
think I'll
left
put
a
you on
scar.
standard. Let me change you back.
There is
to...
no doubt in my mind that left a permanent scar on him. So, and as far as if it's possible that that's the reason that he's
you
in
guys are
conflict
both
today,
moderate.
it's very, very much so. It wasn't it wasn't a minor injury by any stretch of the imagination. It was my best effort to kill him in the most horrible way that I could possibly do it. I just happened to fail.
Well, you were 12, and you'd just seen Patricia tortured and raped and murdered. Trump premeditated the murder of Patricia to torture you, and then Trump tortured you.
True. He would be able to have
Extreme
scar.
circumstances. You know, you
Rita said the scar is the diaper wearing.
Rage at injustice, the most depraved sort of injustice.
And as much as I am able to corroborate,
Sure. I just think you just
somebody would
at
just
them
offer
and
my
put
dad a
their
deal
name.
because he knows all of it. It would be worth him not going to jail, as far as I'm concerned, just to blow this whole thing open. Because as bad as my dad is, any malice that I might have towards him is superseded by the fact that the whole of the organization is even worse.
Yeah.
But that's just me talking to you. I mean, I understand you're not in that position. I'm not in that position, but that's just, I wonder how many other people are out there that are just like my dad. My dad was kind of like a recruiter, maybe. I think he would go out and find runaways, but I can't say where those people got all of the other people. I know that I don't know where Sarah came from. I know Samantha came from an abusive household, and she ran away when she was 12 or 13. Lived on the streets for a while, and then wound up in that brothel, and then wound up getting used in that whole ring. And Patricia had been in some similar circumstance where I think that she was adopted and used kind of like I was, but then she wound up on the street too, another runaway. But I don't know Sarah's background. I don't remember it.
I think your dad was probably one of similar sort of recruiters they might have used in different locations, or in terms of the core group of like those specific torture parties, they might have tried to keep a quite tight rein on things.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about right now? I mean, I think
I have shared the bulk of what I remember vividly.
Okay.
You know, sometimes another detail or something will pop up into my head. But, you know, and I've spent years kind of trying to dissect all of this and
So it makes
you
me
know,
wonder
over the
if Dump
number of
has
years,
more
about
than
the
just
last
his
10
late
years,
wife
I've been
buried
just peeling
on
back
that
layer
property.
after layer of this.
Hey, that's
And
actually
as
a
far as
that's
what I
that's
remember
actually a
clearly,
legit question.
this is pretty much it. You know, like I say, there were other instances of assaults, but I can't tell you who did what, when, or where.
I just figured out TikTok. I just figured
And I
TikTok
can't
out. Now I
place
got to
it to
figure out
a
YouTube.
specific
Laugh out
individual
loud.
outside of, you know, my both of my parents assaulted me. Some of the other family members assaulted me. I can remember that. But as far as anybody of any
You guys please
importance,
keep sharing out the
five
live,
names
please.
that I've given are the only ones.
Give
There's
the
two that
live a thumbs up.
that
Click
were
that
there,
bell notification if
and
you
then
don't have your notifications
the
turned on
the
yet.
three,
Thank you for
Andy,
joining. Subscribe to
Jim,
the channel.
and Donald Trump.
Subscriptions are big
But
over here.
There
on
were
this
other
platform.
people at those parties, and those people were important. I just can't point a finger at them and say for sure
Yeah,
that
no,
this
don't
is that person.
don't worry about that at all
It-
right now. There's what I'm going to do
And
is
to be honest with you, seeing Clarence Thomas there really stood out. But what cements that into my brain was the celebration that my dad had when he got confirmed onto the Supreme Court. How excited he was to have a person as high as the Supreme Court that was involved in all of it as sort of a buffer.
Yeah.
So, you know, could potentially John Roberts or Justice Alito, one of those guys, been there? Potentially. I don't know, but I can remember specifically how excited he was that, you know, this is a person in about the highest position possible. And I remember him saying that that's a lifetime appointment. So,
do you remember?
For what that's worth.
No, that's important. That's significant. Do you remember any female attendees at those parties? Adult females?
Yes, but it was not very common. Lynn went to one at least, and
Thank you, sis.
They were rare.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the women that were at these parties were escorts or children.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some adult escorts at some of the parties for sure, and then there were possibly, before it got down to the smaller group of people at the end where they really did the more brutal, more heinous stuff, that was always just a bunch of men. I can't remember women being in a smaller circle other than other people being trafficked. I can't remember any women being there.
Besides Trump, could you identify any of the rest of the men, of those 8 to 10 men that were always in the tour, in the court torture group? If you saw their photos?
He would be the only one that I could clearly say that this person. The rest of them, I didn't think they were going to kill me.
Yeah.
So they just kind of go into the memory bank of just.
I'm pretty
something
sure all the
else
trauma
bad.
too.
And
There's some things that he can't
well,
remember.
the only ones that I remember are the ones that I thought were dangerous, and then Clarence because he's black, and then Lindsay just because of his mannerisms.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember more. I remember seeing him and observing his mannerisms. What I remember even more is my dad and whoever he was with at the time kind of joking about those mannerisms. I can even remember somebody telling my dad to be careful because there were a lot of people at that party that were gay.
Now
So
that
if
he
got
has spoken
caught,
to the
making
oversight
fun
committee,
of
what
a
will
rich
they
person
do?
that was gay or at least had the mannerisms and
Me too, baby.
and
That's what I want to
demeanor
know.
of
I
a
think
gay
they should be
person,
going to
that
arrest
it
him
might
right
cause
now.
my dad problems. You know,
Hmm.
so it was kind of, we can kind of laugh and joke
Sis
about this
said
a
the
little
fear
bit
he
here,
must
but you
have
better be
during
careful
this
what
time
you
is
say around other
diabolical. No
people, because
doubt,
a lot
no
of these
doubt.
people are gay or at least have bisexual tendencies, and they may take offense to that. And these are people that my dad was not in a position to
Now let's put that in perspective, because he was talking about how they have a lot of bisexual activities going on, and that's one of the things that the Cheddar Color Cult leader and his administration tries to demonize right now, the alphabet community. All the while, majority of the people that's in his administration participate in that activity.
offend.
Hmm.
They, you know,
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to
Right, Lori,
get
we'll eat you up.
this
Yeah, no
recording
doubt.
here, this second recording, and backups and so on. And then I'm just going to spend the rest of Saturday fairly quiet, doing some peaceful things, which I highly suggest you do as well. Just whatever you like to do that you experience
I'm
some
gonna go
joy
do some
about.
yard work.
There you go.
What if it's not too hot outside, it was pretty hot yesterday, but that's kind
Yeah.
of what that's my meditation. That or the gym, and I can't
Yeah.
go to the gym today.
Yeah, spend some time
I have a
outdoors.
set schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do, like I said already, I'd like to just get the text messages we've got and the recordings, and I'm just going to figure out in terms of, you know, there's two recordings now, and I'm just going to figure out like, well, whether I might just upload to a specific drive, and then I've got to look at just some of in terms of the logistics with the recordings. Like I said, like I'd like to just post them raw with a brief
Okay.
summary, and a totally different context. But a long time ago, I was speaking to some folks who are at NASA about climate crisis related, and one of the women that I know at NASA was talking about all the data they were seeing, and there was so much politicization of the data that Lynn was concerned that it was going to be a huge negative impact. Lynn's perspective in terms of climate crisis was, in terms of survival of the human species. And we'd had some
Right.
discussion about posting all of these data from all these different locations, the North Koreans, NORAD, just so everybody could look at the data and they'd be like, holy Christ, what the heck is going on? And then it's like a bit more simple to try to get folks of different opinions and belief systems to behave more unified. So slightly,
Right.
obviously what we're discussing is quite different, but what's similar is, the truth is being suppressed. And
Very much so. And it all comes back to greed, and
Right,
these
since
people
hopefully she puts it
have
in a lot of different places.
this
I hope she's got multiple copies and
defect
everything.
in
So
their
multiple copies
soul
and
or
everything.
personality or whatever you want to say, and they're denying the climate crisis for the sake of money, and they're denying the pedophile ring because the rich people that are involved in it want it to continue.
yeah,
It's just a level of corruption that seems to permeate, I don't know, in almost every direction. It's not everybody who is corrupt, or most certainly the average person, I would think, would be very much against all of this, but
yeah,
not enough people in key positions to prevent it from happening. And that's,
yeah,
and to be honest with you, to some degree, it feels like the Democrats are just part of theater. Joe Biden had 4 years to kind of do some things, and it seemed like
I think with
as far as
Biden, he didn't
policy
have
went, it seemed like some things were going in the right
the
direction.
House
but
and
where were
Senate to do
where
what he would
were-
have liked
where was
to
the-
have done. I think. I could be wrong. That's what I think.
urgency.
Sis said, I pray for
with the
SR
guy that
safety.
tried to-
Absolutely,
to
me
in-
too.
in-
Rita said, it's
incite a
given.
coup.
She did it.
Well,
You
there's
know,
a-
it almost
there's a-
feels
yeah.
like they're just
She did. It
they're just
circulated.
playing a.
Yeah, so that's
all
why it's
feels
going out.
performative,
It's definitely
you
a
know?
hot topic.
No, I
right now.
understand.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
This side and that side.
It is.
Yeah. I think Joe Biden was trying to do the right thing.
He said these rings are
And
still
there's
working.
obviously
Exactly.
a lot of folks,
You did say
Republicans,
that,
that are
Sid.
involved in the pedophile ring and have compromise against them, and perhaps some Democrats.
Let's keep in mind that a
And
lot
I
of cities
think-
got underground tunnels and
I
stuff
think it's
too.
one of those situations where,
So, there's cities
Biden
underground.
had more information. There's a lot more Biden would have done.
I was just watching one
So,
yesterday, a
There's
video.
obviously
They got
been some
McDonald's and
collusion
streets
about
and
the
everything under
information
there.
that everyone's getting, and I think what you were speaking, what you were talking about in terms of the parties and how the parties seem to be presented, folks that were engaged in some level of criminal behavior, but wasn't the extreme criminal behavior of those that were torturing and murdering kids. And so they were all
Right.
trying to play it off against them all. So all these different folks had compromise, say, on drug use or some sex acts they didn't want publicized, but they didn't know about the torture ring. So
Right.
a lot of collusion, but there are decent folks, and there are decent folks that are trying to do the right thing. And I'll get these audio files. I'll get them looked at. I'll get them uploaded. I'll write a little summary. I'm sort of simmering about, just some of the logistics in terms of the file size, the right location, where I'm comfortable with the files being. And I'm, like I say, I've already looked in terms of some contacts at the Hague. One of the things with the Hague is the United States
Chrissy
isn't part
said
of
he
the
didn't. I
international,
think that too. That
the criminal court system
you
anymore.
you think
But
what?
I know how
All
can
right,
still
he
be
didn't do what?
presented because
You
it is
think?
international security issue, considering Trump's wreaking this sort of havoc. Now,
Yeah,
Trump's
it
attempting
is.
to
It is, Rita.
wreak
It's
havoc
crazy.
on all sorts of folks in all sorts of countries regarding tariffs and
I'll
all
find
sorts
it.
of
I'll
nonsense.
find it and send it to y'all.
And is it the exact MO you
I'll send
described
y'all
with
the
the
link to
puppies and with Patricia?
I watched one even under Washington is the underground city.
So
He does seem to
I'll send y'all that too.
enjoy watching the act of suffering play out
yeah,
in
No,
almost
Lord,
any venue
true,
that he
true.
has any part of.
yeah. And now
You
with
know,
immigrations and detentions,
So true.
disappearances in the United
That's the point.
States, again, it's similar.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just if Trump does one thing that's good for this country, it will be by being such a putrid human being, he will maybe expose much of the corruption around him. And that is my only hope for him. Other than that, he serves no positive purpose to mankind.
Yeah.
But if his level of malfeasance somehow segues into the exposing of the misdeeds of some really bad people around him, that'll be the only good thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, but
Yeah.
I have watched this presidency closer than any other because of my past, and good God, everything he touches turns to shit.
Yeah.
And it seems to be that he turns it to shit in the most callous and horrible way possible for as many people as he can make it that way.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me that so many people are on board with the suffering of others, and it seems to be the
Oh, okay,
almost
yeah,
the
you're
selling
right,
point.
Chrissy. Okay, so
Yeah.
we agree on that
I
for
can
sure.
remember discussing with somebody the other day. I don't care if somebody's here legally or illegally. At the end of the day, that's still a human being that we're talking about. Now, if this person has gone and murdered people or done something like that, well, then they should answer for it. But every person deserves due process. Every
Mhm.
person. And that's the way the Constitution is written. That was the one thing that all 9 Supreme Court justices even agreed on, is that everybody should get due process.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he is denying people that and trying to convince the masses that certain people do not deserve due process is just alarming to a degree that it actually is shocking to me that it isn't a line in the sand for everybody. I don't understand the reasoning behind some people thinking that because your skin's
he
brown,
surrounded
you don't
himself with
deserve
folks
due
who worship
process,
the
or because
mustache
you
man.
cross the border here,
No doubt.
which is essentially a civil matter.
Stranger
a
says, as
speeding
long as
ticket
pockets
type
are
of
greased, humans
violation.
can look away from
You
even the
know,
worst
that somehow now that person
atrocities.
deserves
That
to
is
suffer
so
to
right.
death.
That is so
Well,
right,
I mean,
stranger.
such a subject, something that
Unfortunately.
I'm simmering with in terms of timing of publishing the files. You know, there's, on one hand, I want to publish sooner than later, but one of my siblings is traveling to the United States this week, and I told her not to travel. I said it was quite urgent not to travel, and she just hasn't
It's
read a lot of
it's
information.
dangerous here.
Yeah, I know. And so what I'm thinking, what I'm looking at in terms of logistics, especially since we've, our discussion today, I need to confirm when my sister's traveling and her husband, when they're back in Canada. And I would want to make sure they're back in Canada before I post the audio file, just in case. I don't
blame you.
because I just don't. I mean, it's one of those things, I want to make sure you're in a safe location. I want to, I have a friend who's retired. He's American. He's worked as a defense attorney, but he lives in Canada now, at least half the year, and he hates Trump. And I got a call into him. He was a defense attorney in the United States, and I want to run through some things with him, see if he has some suggestions just in terms of preparation, in terms of, so we're okay. So if there's a deluge of press, maybe folks will ignore, maybe there'll be a bunch of press contacts.
Hey, little brother, you got it. Okay, you in here.
There's a bit in terms of preparation.
Thank you for coming in.
But it is really urgent, I know.
I'm just reading your comment
later.
between you and the brain.
So let's just, go step by step.
Okay. Absolutely. I'll look forward to hearing back from you.
Yeah, and
there is one other entity that is
I'm gonna have
now going through.
You have to go back and rewatch it, little brother. The beginning part is where all of the
I think they're going to schedule talking to me tomorrow. I think it was the day that they had. So they are looking for my name and my dad's name in different itineraries to try to piece it together from a different angle.
Yeah, and who are the folks you're speaking to there?
There, I have the name on there. I don't have it on the top of my head. Hold on. I sent them an email. Let me look at my email. The Crustian Daily ICE list.
Okay, that's right. So they're looking through there. Yeah. Okay. When you speak to them, maybe just tell them that don't mention my name, but just say you're speaking to someone that's helping them that's helping you in terms of court-related, affidavit-related, and that.
Shout out to Lisa
that
Noel
I'm planning on
Volding too.
Some discussions with us imminently, and if they would, I just want to, I want to make sure that it doesn't get the waters don't get muddied inadvertently. I actually follow them on social media, and I like what they're trying to get compilations and all the ICE agents and everything, so that's great. But I would appreciate just from, and just a bit more in terms of my background. I've spent lots of time advising folks on a whole range of subjects, and
he's got to
have a very specific approach in regards to law enforcement. That's sort of I'm sort of Clark Kent camouflaged, and so when I look at what I'm looking at, it's really about what's truly the right thing that's really going to truly help ensure there's justice. And I mean like true justice. So if you would if anybody from any journalistic outlet tries to contact you for interviews or anything, I would appreciate if you would just decline until we can get this published, because I think that's going to really help in terms of what we can,
And she was right. I'm glad they
of
waited.
what's the
They
most
did this
important to
back in
get out of what we
July.
covered raw, because journalists are going to try and edit, and there's just, we have to be careful about who's on side and who isn't. So,
Right.
and I'd like to speak to some folks that,
This just
you know,
came
the
in. It
human
says
rights
Diddy's private jet has just
organizations,
became a
maybe
crime
even
scene. I
try to
wonder what
get
that
something
means.
into the ICC before, you know, again, sooner than later. And so yeah, so talk to the folks at the Krusty and
Yeah, I
tomorrow,
think
but
she's very
please don't
smart, sis.
agree
That
to
was
any
a
sort of
great
journalistic
idea to just
interviews with
wait.
them or anyone else until we get these audio files published.
Okay.
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 Awesome. And
Yep.
contact me anytime anything comes up. Okay. I want you to know that, you know, I'm a fierce warrior myself. So
I believe I have relayed the bulk of what I truly remember clearly. But if some detail should come up that I
That's right, Rita.
that I
I agree
remember
with
after
you.
the fact that I think is pertinent, I'll just shoot
Hold on,
you
I hit the wrong one.
a text or a message.
yeah,
And I feel like I've been as thorough as I can without, you know, ad-libbing.
yeah.
You know, I have my thoughts on the matter as
Where's your
well.
rut
But I'm just trying to relay those things
trouble.
that I clearly remember.
Isn't that what Bernie
And that,
Mac said?
unfortunately, is just the small amount that I have told you. You know, there's much more to it. It's just that those details are so muddy that all I can say is there's just a substantial amount more abuse that I can't pinpoint and be specific about. So.
No, I understand. And then, you know, again, I'd still like to look, we've got these files. I probably, in terms of the one file, I'll probably shorten the length just of the 5 minutes where we
Said
talk
the
about
the
carefulness in
plane,
terms of
boss.
journalists and stuff, and
I
my
miss
sister
Fantasy
traveling just
Island.
for safety reasons, so I'll just cut the one file short.
Tattoo.
But,
Shout out to Tattoo.
Then for sure, I'd like to look at, you know, another interview where we talk about some of the details that are fuzzy and everything. But just
Amen.
peacefully,
Yeah,
it's
we're hearing this.
right timing and
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
And then, like
for
I
sure.
say, I've sort of tried to structure so it's easy to get into affidavit format and stuff in terms of criminal cases. I know you could file a lawsuit or something in the United States, but I just don't know that that's the right approach to look at right now. Like E. Jean Carroll filed a lawsuit, but this is a totally different level of crime, right? So,
Yes, yeah.
which is why I'm
And I also want to be careful that I don't come across looking like I do not care about money. I do not care about any sort of notoriety. All I care about is exposing this for what it is in hopes that it would
And that's
shut
real
down that
skill right there.
part of the operation. I know that you can't exactly create a nirvana. You know, there's always going to be bad people doing bad things, but at this level that it's being used, somebody has to stand up to it, because we're goose-stepping towards our own crematorium, is what it looks like to me. And we're having to do that because of all this leverage on the people.
My wife said, I wonder what his bio parents are thinking right now.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to...
They should be feeling guilt.
Trump has
they probably
all of this
feeling
dirt
guilt
on
because
the people around him. I wonder just exactly
you know, he had to get
what
adopted and go through this.
and
I understand why he don't want to talk to him right now.
You know, that's just speculative on my part.
Yeah.
But it certainly would seem to me that he is beholden to Netanyahu and to Putin.
Yeah, I would say that's quite clear,
So,
and certainly even involving yourself and footage with yourself.
Now, we didn't play the first part, but the first part,
but I very much appreciate
he mentions
all
Putin
this.
as well.
I've forgotten the name
that
again.
they brought his
Crustacean
name up.
or
Yeah.
whomever. They were trying to put together.
He heard talking like it was a
the
foreign
different
person.
flight itinerary. So
Okay.
they and
Lori said like dirt.
possibly,
Yeah, I would imagine.
I'm not sure who I spoke to about that, but apparently there's facial recognition software and there's an international porn database.
Yeah.
So when child victims become adults, if they approve, and I do, being run through that system, they can, if it's ever been on the internet, they can do a lot of forensics.
Yeah, he's talking about Putin. Yep, he sure did, sis. You're right.
Did they say they
And
thought
that
they
was-
could help with that, or that they might
Well, I
have
said I wonder
access
what
to
the
some of the
situation
software?
was for the parents too.
I
Parents
believe
as to
so.
why they
Okay.
I
put
believe
him up
so.
for
I mean,
adoption.
So,
Don't
Yeah, I
mention
think
my
that's something
name,
that
but
needs
just
to
mention
be
that, you
brought
know,
out or
I'm
talked
helping
about,
you
too.
and that I might like to
Hey,
talk
sis,
to
you
them
said you
and
listened to
you
it
at
all.
some point.
Did he ever mention
But
why he was
just tell
adopted?
them I'm sort of looking through in terms
Yeah,
of the
I'm just on the
ICC,
second one. I'm
and
gonna start the third one
doing
later.
some diligence there,
You,
just
you got to take
precautionary.
time in between this, boy. It's
two people have also
Crazy.
reached out to me that have been involved in similar types of abuse.
just so 8mm was a documentary. Not
I don't know
movie.
if that would be potentially helpful. I don't
Yeah.
know that this
I know he
is
didn't.
under
Okay,
the
man.
same
Yeah, we got to
umbrella.
check into that.
Yeah.
But one lady that has reached out to me has talked about something that's more involved than just, like family abuse type of things.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, we'll look at all those things, and what I'm looking at, something that would help me if you thought about a little bit in terms of sort of jurisdictions. If you were anyone, either you said you remembered accents and stuff, and then with Putin, just in terms of if
they
there
said
was
again.
anyone in Europe, and specifically in Canada, it's one of the countries of the British Commonwealth, the Commonwealth of Nations. And if there's anyone in any of the Commonwealth of Nations countries that might help in terms of
She's on her
with
ding, boy. She
jurisdiction.
knows
But
what she's
like I
talking
said,
about.
it's like really it's international security issues. So, I would hope that, decent folks working as prosecutors in Canada and involved with the ICC and concerns regarding NATO and the Five Eyes agreement would do the right thing and attempt to assist. So that's sort of what I'm trying to sort out a little bit there. But I know that as a very big start is just publishing the briefings. And like I say, I would send the briefings to some of the folks that I've advised during the years. I would publish and post them, and I'll contact after the briefings with the audio were published with the right preface, and right preface meaning so it's clear that what your position is, and it's clear what my position is, which is doing the right thing, right? Isn't about some financial interest or anything. It's about doing the right thing.
Sister SR is so strong. I don't know.
Sometimes doing the right
if
thing
I'd still
involves
be able to hold
finances,
myself
but
together
that's
like
not
he is.
what
I know. I
we're
thought
talking
about that too.
here.
Like it got to take an
Talking
amazing
about
amount of strength to do what he's doing.
honoring the truth.
Lori said he's really doing well for the
That's
topic.
it.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
And he served in the military as well. So, shout out to him for doing
those
that
three
too.
girls, they deserved a chance at life too.
Yeah.
And these people that somehow believe that they're elevated from the same rules and laws as the rest of us decided that their own absolute monstrosity of desires was more important. And I just don't think that condition should be allowed to exist.
Yeah.
I forget who said it, but evil only exists, or something about good people doing nothing. Evil exists because good people do nothing. Something to that
I like
effect.
that. Yeah. I mean, and that's real. That's real. That's real.
I don't know. This level of evil, I don't think should exist, but we will see.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna spend a little time outdoors and get some follow-up calls going, and we'll figure this out. Okay?
All right. Well, thank you very much for your help.
You're welcome. And hey, something else before we go, I'll just tell you one of my own two of my mantras. Mantra isn't the word I'd like to say because I don't practice occultist sort of Buddhism. Two of my mottos, I guess. Honor self, honor all is one. And fangs forward, faith up is another. So it's my approach on these items. If that helps.
Both of those powerful. I like that.
I do appreciate all of the help. I do.
Thank you.
I hope that my hope is just that this some good will come out of this. Is it? And if that just means exposing the bad people, then so.
Sascha, I'll make sure. I'll make sure. And how I can't even quite really speak to you about how I've already made sure there is justice, and it's much more
It's
amongst
bad
them
for Cheeto
than
Lady.
anyone else really experiences awareness of, and justice is here now. Okay?
I appreciate it. I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah. I'll talk to you soon, Sascha.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Hey, and that's it. Look, let's give it up to her for doing that as well, for covering that, Miss Noel. Um, the the thing about it, the only good I think can really come with this is that all of the people who participated in the heinous actions and that are still alive and still in position of power or in the administration, all of them need to be arrested. That's really the only fair justice. They need to be arrested. 'Cause you gotta understand, there's kids whose lives were taken too or ended. And so I think that, yeah, I saw his comment. So it's been a lot of trolls in here. Once again, it looks like even though we just moved to a new neighborhood, um, you know, the YouTube city is a little crazy. They're gonna come in and do all of that. But once again, we just came into the neighborhood and picked up what we were doing over in TikTok city. So we're gonna keep putting in that work over here. And, I'm gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do the same thing, y'all. A couple of announcements before we get up out of here. Really, not a couple, maybe like one. Maybe like one. So tonight I was reading the messages. Little brother was going back and forth with some people, and he stated that gonna push the start time tonight. So over on Twitch, subscribe to MC3 SFT9, our Wednesday night record show. Instead of starting at 6:30, it has been pushed an hour back. So it's been pushed back an hour. So we're gonna start at 7:30. But once again, same thing. Make sure you come join us. We'll be there and interacting with you all and just enjoy the night of wrestling for us. Did I see your last comment? Let me see what last comment I have. He talks about how evil his mom was, but he goes more into detail about the dad than her. I would love to hear how she was worse. Yeah, I would too. I think that would be good. Yeah, he did. He said she was worse for sure. I would love to know that. I would love to know about that and the like you said, how the adoption happened. Because I think those are two vital things too that's missing. Yeah, he said she was like DT. Yeah, he did. He said they were the same. They got off on seeing people basically being tortured. That was a fetish for them. So, I mean, that's crazy in itself. So yeah, tonight 7:30. Make sure y'all join us. It's gonna be a big night. It's gonna be a big night. Your boy, I gotta face the heavyweight champion and tonight, and I typically don't do good in these matches. So let's pray for a different outcome tonight. I don't know. I've been on a bad streak lately. I lost my Fight Club championship. I lost to a chicken tender. I lost a three-way dance. I mean, it's just a lot, My wife said that they apparently secretly assaulted him as well. Sexually assaulted him as well. Yeah, he said them and other and other relatives. So yeah, it seemed like he was dealt the bad hand from the beginning. Thank you, Lori. You so sweet. Lori said you got this. All right, you gonna be there? You gonna join in, Lori? You gonna come watch? Thank you, Tasia. She said you still got it. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You got to make sure you watch it back so you can hear it in its entirety. Okay, make sure you go back and watch it. This is the end. Please promise me you'll go watch this video, this live. Watch it back, the whole thing. You know, Jenny said, yeah, and to his family as well. It's terrible. Yeah, I think everybody needs to be held accountable and locked up. That's the only justice. Just exposing who done it, that's nothing. But what it does do is let us know exactly why Trump was mad at Marjorie Taylor Greene and yelling at her and making the statement that if he came out with if the files came out, that a lot of people would be basically victimized or hurt or be in trouble and stuff like that. I think O'Bannon is the one that said it was trouble, but yeah, the Cheddar Color Coat leader was saying that a lot of his friends it'd be bad for a lot of his friends, and now we see why. We're starting to hear why, and so that's the thing I'm at right there. Like, it's a difference when we suspected it. Um, it was a difference when we thought that it was because during the trial, when we just thought E. Jean Carroll was the problem, or that was going to be his downfall. That was going to be the proverbial nail in the coffin for him. And then we also see now why he needed Felon Muskrat to cheat for him in that election because he would have went to prison if all this came out. So it definitely puts everything out on the table. It definitely explains a lot of things. Uh, you know, oh yeah, this just came up too. Hey, shout out to the attorneys and the state workers in Minnesota who have decided to their DAs who have decided to just um, step down, or they decided to terminate their positions, and let's see, because they don't like what the administration is putting out when it came to the situation dealing with, no, I said situation, that's so mean, the unaliving of Miss Good. So shout out to them. I mean, slowly but surely people are starting to come to their senses. um we need more. We need more people to do it. It's important. We need more people to do it. He's still sending the ICE people to the neighborhood that they unalived her in. I just seen that this morning, and that's just an ultimate disrespect and slap in the face. So yeah, we need more people to get it. Okay, Tasia says she will do. Yeah, okay, so make sure you do that for sure. Uh, Sis said we getting that belt. We need it tonight. Man, listen, yeah, it's time. It's time. It's time. You know, like I can't keep dropping these matches. These are important. These are big. He said the line has been drawn, and anyone still supporting this BS needs to be looked into. I agree, and I don't care how close of a relationship we have. I don't care how long we've been friends, anything like that. Anybody support this is there's no reason for us to talk. Like I said to you, sis, when we were texting back and forth. I believe we have been patient long enough. I believe we have given them enough time to see what's right in front of them. And now at this point, they're choosing not to if they still support. And especially after this, that's just we can't do it. We can't pardon that no more. They made John Ross a GoFundMe. See, that's what they do. You see, they did the same thing with what you call it? What's that guy's name in Florida who unalived Trayvon Martin? George Zimmerman. They did the same thing for him. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I can't. These people, man. Right, Lord, just as bad. They are just as bad. Listen, y'all, thank y'all for joining me for hashtag I'm gonna say it. Thank you for coming over here to the new home of hashtag I'm gonna say it. I do like these digs. I'm gonna be real with you. I think it's better here. Um, I'm still mad. TikTok still haven't paid me my money. So yeah, they lucky we can't hit some blocks on them. But in any event, thank y'all for joining me. This has been your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, Mr. Breaking News, signing off from the newsroom. You all have a great day. Hold on, Chris said I don't support him at all. No, I don't. I do not. No, and I'm glad you don't. Yeah, nobody should. We can pray for them, but I'm not ever with them. Yeah, that part right there, sis. That's as far as it's going. That's as far as it's going. So thank you for having me there. You're welcome. You are so welcome. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. My little brother said, I wish I could be in your corner, big brother. But I know you got this. I'm praying. I'm praying I can make you happy, make the squad happy. You know, we can go out and celebrate tonight. Uh, you know, and you go ahead representing your match too now. You know, I'm gonna be in Gorilla watching that. And listen, hopefully we are all having a good night. It need to be a good NOD night tonight. You know. Jenny said TikTok still has your page up. See, I was telling you, babe. I told you. I don't know what it is. And I still hadn't heard from uh talking with JoJo. I need her help. I see a lot of people was messaging on my backup page and was like, look, you know, go to this person, they can recover it, but I don't trust them. I trust talking with JoJo. But I saw that, sis, and I was going and saving some of my videos. I was saving them on my backup page. She said I screenshot you a pic. Okay. Tasia said they do. So you see my page, my old page too, Tasia? I didn't. I'm gonna leave her a message. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, sis. I do. All right, y'all. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get ready to go get Rudy. Make sure 7:30 tonight. Twitch. Go and subscribe. MC3 SFT9. Come join us and cheer me and my little brother on in our matches tonight. All right. Appreciate said, Dad, I left you a message on TikTok. Okay, I'll go and look. I'll go and look at it right now. The backup. I'm assuming the backup because not you can't do the other one. I was able to like. Me too. I was liking it too. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what's going on, sis. I don't know. I love you all to life, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace and blessings to you all.